This week, I'm going to lead you through a slow yoga practice to wind down at the end of the day or maybe before going to bed. We're going to include some gentle movement and also some longer held yin style poses to really de-stress and relax the body at the end of the day. Let's get started. For this week's practice, a bolster or anything that you could use as a bolster would be really good to have. It could be also some kind of a roll blanket or a big cushion, some pillows that you can stack on top of each other, just so that you could enjoy the supported back bend at the end of the practice. And then let's start. And we're going to go straight into some movement. We're going to start from all fours. So find yourself onto hands and knees as we go into some cat-cows to start the practice. So have your hands roughly under your shoulders, knees roughly under the knees, and toes could be tucked under, or you could just relax your toes, your feet. And then as you exhale, round your spine, finding that cat pose. And as you breathe in, open your chest. Find a gentle back bend. You might look forward if that feels good. Again, as you exhale, round the spine, you can bring your tail under, bring your chin towards the chest. And then inhale, opening the chest, finding that gentle back bend. One more round like this. Exhaling, round the back. And then inhale, open the chest. And then we're going to continue the movement, but we'll change the breath pattern. So now as you exhale, round the spine, same as before, but then pause in that cat shape as you breathe in, opening the back even more. Then with the next out breath, open your chest, find the back bend, and then pause here to breathe in, opening the chest just a bit more. Again, as you exhale, round the back, round the neck, you can tuck the tail under. Inhale there. You could send your breath towards the back side of the body. And then with the next out breath, open the chest. And then stay in that back bend as you breathe in, maybe now breathing in more to the chest. One more round with the exhalation, rounding the spine. Push the floor away with your hands, with your arms. Inhale towards the back. And then as you exhale, find one more back bend. And in that back bend, open the chest. You can breathe towards the chest. And then as you exhale, find a neutral spine. Check that your hands are in a place where you can really ground down through the hands. We're going to tuck the toes under and then lift the pelvis up into a downward facing dog. And now in this downward dog, we'll give some movement for the feet, for the legs. You could pedal from one foot to the other. You could also walk from one hand to the other. Maybe shake the head, allow your neck to soften. And then just a couple of times, turn your heels from one side to the other. So turning heels to the right side of the mat, turning heels to the left side of the mat. So you're kind of rotating through the legs, rotating through the hips. Maybe you're finding some twisting through the spine. Go one more time to both sides. And then slowly, once you've been on both sides the same amount of times, bring your feet, your legs back to center. And now from this downward dog, bring yourself forward into either an upward facing dog or cobra pose. So for cobra, you can bring your pelvis, your legs down on the mat. Release the toes. And take a couple of breaths in your big cobra or big upward facing dog. Just opening through the front. You could release the shoulders, release the neck. And then with your next exhalation, slowly lower your chest down. Bring yourself all the way down onto your belly, onto your chest, and then step hands a bit wider apart. So outside of your mat, bend the elbows. We're going to do a few lifts into kind of a seal cobra type of back bend. So we're going to have arms a bit wider, a bit further forward. As you inhale now, lift your chest off the mat, opening through the chest. Legs could also be wider apart. With your next exhalation, release your belly, your chest, your head back down. If needed, you can adjust your arms. We'll do the same again. As you inhale, peel your chest off the mat. Opening through the chest. You might look forward, you might even look up if that feels good. And exhale, release down. Your legs are still on the mat. We'll do one more time again. If needed, you can adjust your hands, your arms. And then inhale one more time. Opening through the chest, lifting into that seal cobra. Legs long behind you. And then exhale, slowly bring yourself back down. And then we're going to lean onto one side and come up into a seat. And we're going to come up to sitting on the left hip. So bring yourself into a seat where you have your left shin in front of you, right leg either next to you or behind you. So in that kind of deer seat. So you probably have more weight on your left hip. You could bring hands onto your knees or thighs. And then we start to circle the weight from one hip to the other. So you can imagine you have a circular shape under your pelvis and you're trying to move the weight along that circle. Then you can start to bring more movement to your spine, your chest as well. Allowing your whole spine all the way up to the neck. Just gently move along that circle. And then change the direction. And now notice how you're breathing along that circle. Where do you breathe in? Where do you breathe out? I like to breathe out when I'm rounding the back. And then inhale as I open the chest. But you might find your own breath pattern. Let's do another circle. And then slowly, slowly bring yourself to center. But maybe there's still more weight on that left hip. And make sure you're not hurting in the hip joints, in the knee joints. You can still adjust your legs. We're going to go into some side bends. Now first, lean onto your left hand. So slide your left hand out to the side. And then as you inhale, reach up through the right arm. Exhale, find a side bend. So you're leaning to the left. But then as you inhale, start to lift up through the right side body. So you're kind of opening the right armpit, trying to open the ribs on the right hand side. You might even start sending your right sit bone down towards the mat. So we're not really leaning more weight onto the left arm, but we're actually trying to pull the weight away from that left hand to lift up through the ribs on the right hand side. You might look down to the mat if that feels better. Take another breath here, in and out. And then as you inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. And then we're going to go to the other side. So now bring your right hand down. And this side might be much more restricted. We have that right leg there stopping us. So maybe it's just fingertips on the mat. We're going to now inhale, reach the left arm up, open the left side, And then exhale again, bend towards the right. But with the next in-breath, start to lift up through the left side. Head, neck can lean into that side, and you might also look down towards the mat. But again, rather than you're putting more weight onto the right hand, you're actually trying to lift away from that right hand, opening the ribs on the left hand side. Maybe sending more weight onto the left buttock, left sit bone here. And just breathe towards the ribs. So breathe towards the left side, towards the left armpit. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. You could move your neck, you could move the shoulders. And then bring your legs into a butterfly shape. So bringing both feet in front of you. You can make your butterfly a longer, wider butterfly, or you can bring your feet closer to the hips. Just a couple of times, rock from side to side. Finding that place where you feel your hips, your knees are at ease. And then we're going to go into a forward bend. Maybe hands around the feet or hands in front of you. Inhale, just very gently open the chest, lengthen the back. And then as you exhale, start to round your back forward, tilting forward through the hips, through the pelvis. You could take another breath, opening the chest, reaching the head forward. And then exhale, lean your head down. Maybe you find your weight just a bit further down. Try not to pull too much with the arms, so rather use the gravity, use your breath to slowly release into that forward bend. And you can play with how much you're tilting forward from the pelvis, from the hips, or how much you're rounding the spine. So if you want, you might try to keep your both buttocks on the mat. Find a bit more rounding through the spine. That might send some more flexion through the spine. Or you might let your pelvis tilt forward. Maybe the sit bones come off the mat. That might send the sensations more to the buttocks, through the thighs. That might maybe not bring spine to neutral, but a bit more of a neutral through the back, so less of a rounding in the spine. Take another breath or two in and out, softening through the neck. And then as you inhale, start to roll the back up, slowly bringing the neck, slowly bringing the head up. Breathe into the chest. And then we're going to bring the right shin in front of us. Find that deer seat on the other side. So now left leg next to you or behind you. And it might be that your legs are in a slightly different place on this second side. That's absolutely fine. We'll go back to that circling movement. So now, again, start to circle the weight from one hip to the other. So creating that circling motion down in the pelvis, in the hips. And then allow your spine to move. Allow your head to move as well. For me, the movement is much more restricted on this side, and it's okay. We are asymmetrical. If you now feel that the movement is different, just explore the movement. It's very fine if it's smaller, if it's bigger on this side. You could change the direction. You might also still need to adjust where the legs are. Maybe that is affecting the size of the movement or how much of a movement you can find. Just make sure that you're not hurting any joints. And make sure you can still breathe. Again, notice where you breathe in, where you breathe out along that circle. We'll do another 1 or 2 circles. And then bring yourself to center, what feels like center to you. And now we're going to lean to the right first. So walk your right hand out to the side. And as you inhale, reach, lengthen up through that left arm. Exhale, bend to the right. And then as you inhale, open through the left side ribs. So as if you're pushing away from the floor through that right arm, lifting up through the left side ribs, through the left armpit, softening the tops of the shoulders, and just breathing here. If you want, you might even try to reach the left buttock towards the mat. Kind of having that anchoring, rooting idea through the left buttock. That might change how you feel. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. And then we're going to lean to the left. So now bring left hand or maybe just the fingertips onto the mat. And as you inhale, lengthen up through the right arm. Exhale, bend to your left. And then again, inhale, lift up through the right side or lift up through the ribs on the right hand side. You might look down to the mat if that releases the neck or the shoulders more. But let your neck, let the tops of the shoulders soften. And again, you might also play with sending more weight onto the right buttock here. And just breathe. Let the breath do its work. Let the breath find some opening from the inside. So yoga is a bit more than a workout, it's more of a work in. So making our way in, observing those internal processes, what's going on the inside. Take another breath here. And then slowly, slowly inhale, lift yourself up. And again, bring legs in front of you. This time, extending the legs. We're going to go into the caterpillar forward bend. So you could have your feet hip width apart. They could be closer, they could be wider apart. Where could you find a bit of room to bend forward? So maybe I'll turn sideways so you can see better. We'll start to walk hands forward. You could hold onto your legs or you could just walk hands forward along the mat next to the legs. Then as you inhale, just gently lengthen the back forward. And exhale, see if you could round your back. Maybe even bring your head down. Let's take another breath in, reaching forward through the head, through the back. And then exhale, bending down again, allowing your spine to round, allowing head to come down. If you want, you could lean your arms or hands onto your shins and then maybe lean your head onto your arms. Or if you have your bolster there, you could also bring your bolster under the head or under the chest. And send your breaths towards the back side of the body. Breathing towards the back ribs. Breathing all the way down towards the lower back, towards the back of the pelvis. Again, you can play with how much you're leaving the pelvis onto the mat, how much you're tilting forward through the pelvis, and that might affect where you feel the pose, how much you feel the pose. Take another breath or two in and out. And then slowly start to roll the back up. Then bring your neck, bring your head up. You could move the neck, you could move the shoulders. And then we're going to go into a closed twist. Now, you could use a bolster for this, or you could do this without a bolster. We're going to come sit down on the left hip. You could have your legs on top of each other, or you could have your legs in that deer shape again. We're going to either use a bolster, bring it next to the left hip so it's pointing out from the left hip, or you can just move the bolster aside. You can do this without any props. We're going to turn our chest away from the legs towards the bolster, towards the mat, and then slowly lean down. So if you are not using a prop, just lean your chest all the way down onto the mat. Bring your head onto the mat. You can turn head to one side or the other. And you might bring arms lower down, or you could keep them higher up. You can even slide them overhead. You might still adjust your legs, just finding a place where there's a twist, but it's not too intense. And you could just breathe here. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your twist. Just allowing things to slow down. Breath by breath, softening into the pose. Letting go of tension. Exhaling that tension that you don't need right now for this pose. After your 5 to 10 breaths, slowly find your hands under the shoulders and help yourself up into a seat. If you have a bolster there, just leave it there. Turn your back towards the bolster. Or if you didn't use a bolster, bring a bolster now behind the back, so it's lengthwise behind the back. You could extend your legs, or you can bring both legs into a butterfly shape as we lean into a supported back bend on top of that bolster. You can still adjust your legs if needed. You could open arms out to the sides if you want. If you feel that there's any pinching, discomfort in your lower back, you can move the bolster further away from your pelvis, so there could even be a big gap between the end of the bolster and your pelvis. You might bring arms overhead as well. Again, just leave space for the breaths. each exhalation to make your back a bit heavier. Allow your shoulders to become heavier. Allow your neck, your head to become heavier. And again, give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your supported back bend. And then either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel you'd be ready to let go of your back bend, slowly bring your feet onto the mat, so bending the knees. And then we're going to roll on to the right side and find the twist, that closed twist on the other side. So lean onto your right hip. Bring yourself up to sitting on the right hip. You can use a bolster. You don't need to use a bolster. But legs either together or in that deer shape. Turn chest once more down towards the mat, towards the bolster. And then lean down into your twist. And again, you might turn head to one side or the other. You can still adjust your arms, your legs. And then just breathe in your twist. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your twist. And then after those 5 to 10 breaths, you can just slowly bring yourself up from that twist and bring yourself to lie down on your back. If you want, you can bring a bolster under your legs, or you might just extend your legs onto the mat. See which one would feel more comfortable to you now. And then let yourself find your own resting pose, your Shavasana pose. Hands and arms in a place that allows your shoulders to relax. Legs in a place that allows your hips, your lower back to relax. You might gently rock your head from side to side, still looking for that place where your neck, upper back could soften You might lean head to one side if that feels better now. Allow your chest, your belly to soften. You can allow your breath to quiet down. And just continue to observe that soft rhythm of your own breath. Allowing your mind to rest in observing the breath. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your resting pose. And let yourself notice how you feel now as we're slowly coming towards the end of the practice. And let yourself observe without any judgment. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Just acknowledging, accepting how you feel now. Give yourself a few more breaths in and out. These could be a few slightly deeper, bigger breaths. Maybe inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, letting out a sigh. And if you feel that you want to extend this Shavasana pose, you can stay here longer. Or if you feel that it's now a good time to start closing the practice. And first bring some gentle movement to your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet. You might lengthen arms overhead along the floor if you want. Or you might hug your knees in towards the chest, whatever feels good in this moment. And then in your own time, slowly bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat. And that could be any pose, any shape of your choice, where you feel you could leave your hips, your back, your shoulders soft, and where you could give yourself a few more breaths to slowly close the practice. If it's a part of your practice, you can bring your hands, your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking this time to slow things down, to look after yourself. And I thank Thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you.